Today on Studio One, chrome, exhaust, and perfect paint jobs are all part of a car collector's life. We'll talk to car buffs about their obsession. Also, taming a wild horse is a daunting task. We'll spend a day in the life of a champion horse trainer. And the news team will tell us whether or not we will get a break on our energy bill this winter.
From the University of North Dakota, with Monty Cashel and Ivy Arneson, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One.
Yes, thank you for joining us today.
Well, I have kind of an uplifting story for everyone today.
What's that?
Well, I just read that Concorde service is going to begin again by Air France. If you remember, about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, the Air France Concorde actually crashed, and then they were going to do a whole, they're going to look at all their Concorde planes and redo things. Well, they're finally back at it again. They're going to start flying, and actually they're hoping that it will kind of psychologically boost people again after the attacks that happened in New York. And on November 7th, they'll be flying back to New York, and they're going to do that as a tribute.
How long did it take them to rebuild that?
Just over a year.
Okay.
So it took a while, but now they're back in service, and they'll be breaking the sound barrier again.
Wow, exciting.
Yeah. We've got an exciting show for you. Breast cancer is the second most common form of cancer among women in the United States. Today we will talk with someone who got this disease at a very young age.
Many of us have questions regarding the Muslim religion, especially since September 11th. Later on, we'll talk with someone who can provide us with some answers.
But first, today's news with Leanna Anderson.
Thanks, Monty and Ivy. There is one more case of anthrax in New York, and it involves another TV news network. An assistant to CBS anchor Dan Rather is being treated for cutaneous anthrax infection on her skin. This is the same form of anthrax contracted by an NBC employee earlier this week. Officials say the CBS employee is doing well and is expected to recover. Meanwhile, the U.S. Postal Service is remaining cautious. Postal workers are using latex gloves when handling suspicious packages. The Postmaster General urges Americans to use common sense when opening their mail.
People should remain calm. They should be vigilant. They should be aware of what they're receiving in the mail. And they should also be familiar with the simple, common sense actions that they can take to keep themselves safe.
The U.S. Postal Service and the FBI will give a $1 million reward to any information leading to the arrest of those responsible for the anthrax incidents. There's a nationwide delay of the flu shot vaccine this year. The All True Clinic in Grand Forks, North Dakota has received some of the vaccine, but are only currently giving the shots to people with high risk for complications. Some of the people who should be vaccinated first include people over 65, people with a chronic illness, those with asthma or diabetes, and healthcare workers.
No vaccine is 100% effective, and so what we're really trying to do is keep people out of the hospital and keep people preventing deaths related to influenza.
Because healthy people have a low risk of serious complications, those in Grand Forks are being asked to wait until the first week in November. During this time, this particular clinic will be holding a drive-through clinic where they will be offering the flu shot. The terrorist attacks on September 11th contributed to the stock market being much lower than usual. This causes many people to become concerned about their future. Some investors say the elderly are the most worried. This is because of their fears of having too little money for retirement. They worry that their investments will never go up and continue to plummet. However, investors remain optimistic that the market will stabilize. Last year, energy prices took some people by surprise. There have been some predictions that these prices will be better this winter. It all depends on where you live.
The recent tragedy has caused some experts to assume that energy costs will go down. The reason behind this idea is that the demand for jet fuel has dropped, causing refineries to produce more heating oil. They predict this will contribute to a drop in all fuel prices. This is a complete turnaround from the situation a year ago.
Across the nation, there was much reliance on natural gas to provide the generation capacity. And as we all know, the natural gas prices fluctuated wildly last year.
For businesses and people in North Dakota, however, this will not be the case. The reason is coal. North Dakota's primary energy source comes from coal, not natural gas. Prices will not drop as they may in other states across the nation.
Over the scheme of things, since 1992 to 2006, basically our rates have been near flat. So in this area, we're very fortunate to have coal-supplied generation.
North Dakota only uses diesel oil to produce power in peak situations, so they had fewer problems compared to other states last year.
Other people who rely on propane and natural gas may see some fluctuations. Again, the experts say those will be less drastic this year.
It's for this reason the state won't see the same drop in prices this year either. This is Lisa Steffen reporting for Studio One News.
Last year, almost 5 million households received energy assistance from the government. And that's news for now. Monty and Ivy?
Thanks a lot, Leanna. Well, it is getting to that time of year when you start winterizing your house and thinking about fuel costs for your home.
Yes, it is. I wonder what the weather has in store for us for the next week. Well, why don't we go out to the Regional Weather Information Center with Ryan Vipond. Ryan, what does the forecast look like?
Well, Monty and Ivy, we'll get to the forecast here shortly, but beautiful sunny skies out there currently in Grand Forks. Taking a look at our almanac data for today, we've reached a high of 55, starting out at 41, and that's above normal for this time of year. Our month-to-date precip just over a ½ an inch, and sunset tonight at 6:35 p.m. Currently, as we take a look at the temperature in Grand Forks, 55 degrees under a mostly sunny sky, just some scattered clouds, dew point 22. West winds now at 16, gusting up over 20, pressure falling. Regionally across the upper Midwest and northern plains, temperatures typical for mid-October with readings into the 50s. Through southern Canada, we see 10 in Regina and 11 in Winnipeg. As we take a look at our current surface analysis out there, we see a low-pressure system off into the western Great Lakes, causing some rain showers in that part of the United States. Rain showers in southern Florida, but high pressure dominant over the western half of the country. As we take a look at our regional forecast, or our regional surface analysis, that rain shower moving through the Arrowhead of Minnesota into northern Wisconsin, with breezy conditions for the most part across the North Dakota region and southern Manitoba. Friday forecast in detail for the upper Midwest. Breezy conditions, winds out of the northwest at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, and for the most part, cloudy skies. So our Friday forecast in Grand Forks starting out at 38. For the most part, mostly cloudy skies, but a peak of sun or two. We're expecting a high of 55 degrees. With mostly cloudy skies again. Check us out on our website, www.rwic.und.edu. So Monty and Ivy, coming up later in the show, we'll take a detailed look at the weekend forecast.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Well, I hope that fall can stick around for a while.
Yeah, he's got the sun poking through the clouds.
Yes, he does.
That's good news.
That's what we like.
Well, let's go now to sports news with James DeGilder.
Things for like NFL and breast cancer to support the Susan Komen Foundation.
Yeah.
Face the defending world champion New York Yankees Wednesday night in the American League Championship Series. Top four, 1-0 Yankees. Paul O'Neill blasts a 2-run home run to right field over Ichiro's head, 3-0 Yankees. Bottom seven, 3-1 Yankees. Mike Cameron hits the ball to Brocious, who turns the easy 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. Bottom nine, 4-2 Yankees. Martinez represents a tying run, but grounds out to first to end the game. The Yankees win and lead the series 1-0. National League, Atlanta and Arizona. First batter, first pitch, and Marcus Giles sends a souvenir to the left field seats. The Atlanta Braves take a very early 1-0 lead. Bottom six, Diamondbacks have runners on the corners, and Matt Williams sends a hit up the middle to tie the game up at 1. However, top of the very next inning, Javi Lopez comes to the plate and hits a home run off the foul pole that gives the Braves the lead. The Braves win 8-1 and tie the series up at 1. NHL action, Dallas at St. Louis. First period, Madonna takes a puck and bounces it into the net. Dallas takes a 1-0 lead. Minutes later, Blues on a power play. Keith Tkachuk in front of the net jams it home to tie the game up at 1. Third period, Blues ahead 2-1 until Lettinen scores off the wrister to tie the game. The game would end in a 2-2 tie. The University of North Dakota swimming and diving teams have been consistently ranked among the top colleges in the North Central Conference. Both the men and the women finished within the top 5 at nationals last year and are looking for strong performances again this year. The UND men's swimming coach says both teams have already set goals for this season.
To step up one place on nationals. Last year we went 3rd in men's side, and we were 4th in girls' side, so we're planning on going one step up at least.
The 2001-2002 swimming season kicks off for the women against Northern Michigan on November 2nd, while the men face Division I teams North Carolina and Minnesota the same weekend. It's now time for the Studio One trivia question. This week's question is, what are the most runs ever scored by one team in one big league game? Is it 38, 31, 36, or 42? The answer to that question and more sports will come in the second half of the show. Monty and Ivy?
Thanks, James. Coming up, you'll get to see how one city in North Dakota has made public transportation a very enjoyable experience.
Also, we'll hear the story of one woman and her fight with breast cancer. Stay with us.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The University of North Dakota. You can go anywhere from here. At UND, you'll find a challenging, exciting community that draws students from across the nation and around the world. The University of North Dakota offers 136 programs with outstanding faculty who will prepare you for your future. UND, an affordable, high-quality education that's nationally ranked. Your future starts here. Visit our campus and join the University of North Dakota community.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
1 out of 9 American women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. Most of the women who are diagnosed have no history of it in their family. Here to talk with us today about her struggle with breast cancer is Heather Lotysz. Heather, thank you for coming on the show today. Well, first, can you just tell me, you were diagnosed with breast cancer when you were 21 years old, and can you just tell me what that was like for you?
I guess when you're 21, the last thing you're thinking of is, yeah, you're 21, you can go to the bars, you're a senior in college, starting to think about things you have in the future and what you have planned and where you're going. And then when you hear something like that, it's just, your entire world turns around. You don't know what to expect. I mean, a million things run through your mind. You think, what am I going to do first? What do I got to do next? And everybody, there's so many different things that they throw at you, what you're going to do. So.
And how did your family respond to this? They had to be just as devastated as you were. And how did they react?
My father was, my dad and I are fairly close, so he took an active role. Like, he just was, this was his daughter, and he cannot make it better. He had a very hard time, dealing with what can he do, and it should have been him. And my mother went through a denial phase. She thought there's had to be something wrong, someone's messed up somewhere, this just cannot be happening. So there was, everybody, you could see almost the phases that everybody was going through. My sister is a nurse, so she was very active, and this is what we need to do. We need to contact these people. This is where So she played an active role in helping me decide, what types of chemotherapies and.
And what options did the doctors give you? I know they obviously gave you chemotherapy, but did they have any other suggestions or things they told you?
There's different things depending on what stage you're in, how old you are, different things that play into a role also. But they also gave me different types, so they were kind of let me help decide which chemotherapy I wanted to choose, if I want to do a standard dosage treatment of chemotherapy, if I want to do radiation first, second, things like that. So I did decide to do a very strong chemotherapy because I felt I was young enough, and I didn't ever want to say, if it came back, I did not want to look back and say, boy, maybe I should have done the strongest one. I always, I thought that this would be my best option, and I I had about a week to decide and think about, so it was nice having that little bit of control and, helping to, choose which kind of, treatment you're going to have.
And once you decided on the chemotherapy, what kind of outlook did the doctors give you? Did they give you any facts or statistics or anything to go by?
They give you, there's many, many, many different statistics, percentages. They give you different types of odds, reoccurrences, depending on your sizes, They give you, there's so many different overwhelming things that they tell you, this can happen, and so you just have to really look at your own self and look at how confident you feel and how dealing with your own recovery, how you feel about, some women do just fine and they're a stage 4, and some women who are in a stage 1 don't do as well. So there's no exact statistic that I don't think that they can give you. It's how you deal with yourself, and everybody is so individual and so different, and every circumstance could end up different.
And could you tell us what it was like to go through the chemotherapy and the radiation? What things did you experience?
I experienced a lot of, I tried to have fun with it. You could deal with it in many different ways. You can sit at home and not leave your house. And don't get me wrong, there were days when I didn't want to get up out of bed and where I was very angry, very selfish, very mad. And there was days where I was like, what else am I going to do? I look back on it now and think, wow, I was really sick. But at the time, during chemo, I would play cards and we would have a good time. We would speak about it. We would have jokes about it. You can sit at home and you can, dwell on it, or you can just move on and deal with it how you best you can.
And physically, how was it? I know you did lose your hair, and how was that for you? How did that take an emotional toll on you?
I think that was the hardest, more so than physically having breast cancer, like being feminine and worrying about your breasts. It was mostly the outer appearance, because you lose your eyelashes, you lose your nose hairs, you lose your ear hairs, you lose everything you have. And that's, being 21 and in college, that is such an identity, and that's such a part of being in college is, your looks and how you're presented and things like that. So that was, I think, hard, and I'd always had long blonde hair, and that was the first thing, like, am I going to lose my hair?
Right.
But, it just, when it happens, and you deal with it, and I just wore a hat or bandanas. And
how long did it take for it to grow back then after the treatments?
I had my last treatment in March of '97, and of course, it's kind of like in North Dakota winters, as soon as it's 35 here, everybody starts to wear shorts. Well, as soon as I got like a 1/4 inch, I just was running around without hats, without bandanas, and now I look back at pictures and I was like, what am I doing running around, So it came back. It was manageable, I would say, within 3 months, like enough to style.
Yeah. So in your fight, what was the most important thing that helped you get through it?
I always call it my 3 F words: my family, my faith, and my friends.
Okay.
Yep.
And how important do you believe the self-breast exams are for young women? Because I know there's been studies that say the best thing is to go get a mammogram every year and then just do that. But how important do you think they are?
I think they're extremely. It's getting in touch with yourself, how you feel about things, getting in touch with what is supposed to be there, what is not there, what has been there for a while, over a month or so. I think it's a combination, breast self-exam, mammograms. It's just having that awareness and being on top of it, because if I would have known somebody who said, Heather, there's a possibility that you might have breast cancer, I probably would have checked a lot sooner, a lot more often, and I wouldn't have been so surprised.
And are you cancer-free now?
So far, yep.
Good.
We're 5 months pregnant, and everything so far is so good.
Well, congratulations on your new baby.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Heather. You've seen her star in many movies, including Charlie's Angels, Never Been Kissed, and E.T. Coming up, we'll take a peek at Drew Barrymore's latest film. But first, you'll get a chance to meet a man who is an award-winning animal trainer. And in his business, there's no horsing around is expected.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota's School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The University of North Dakota has a rich history of retaining and graduating American Indian students. UND offers 26 American Indian programs, more than any other higher education institution in the U.S. The support services provided by Native American programs enhance student success. Native American programs offer tutoring, academic advising, and financial aid assistance, which makes UND a leader in Indian education. For more information, call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Horses are beautiful animals, but they are born wild. If you want to ride one, it better be trained. Indeed, there are such people that help take the wild out of horses. Today we spend the day in the life of a horse trainer.
Joey Jorgensen has been around horses almost his whole life. It only seemed natural for him to train them for a living. Jorgensen, with the help of his staff, trained horses outside Fisher, Minnesota. He has won numerous awards for his training, including the National Horse Trainer of the Year Award for 2001. The amount of time it takes to train a horse can vary. Still, Joey says there should be adequate time.
Well, usually, I always say people get the most for their money in 45 days. You'll get more for 60, but then you put more money into it, too. 30 days just isn't quite enough.
It costs a little less than $500 a month to train a horse. His customers come from all over the world, but his most frequent are a little closer to home.
One of our biggest accounts right now is from Roseville, but Minnesota, but the majority of our customers come from down around the Minneapolis area, a lot of Wisconsin, a lot of Iowa. For some reason, an awful lot of horses come out of the state of Michigan.
Even when the horses are trained, they can still be very dangerous.
Mike Tyson is supposed to be the best boxer, but supposed to be the toughest man in the world. Well, it's a fact that even Mike Tyson would go in a stall with one of these horses, and if they wanted to kill him, they could kill him.
Aside from the broken ribs, Joey considers himself lucky to have escaped serious injury. The days of a horse trainer can be long, but Joey says he takes pride in the work he does with these galloping patrons. This is George Hargreaves reporting for Studio One.
Jorgensen can train anywhere from 300 to 1,000 horses every year. One of the horses being trained now will be going over to England to meet its new owner. Riding in Cars with Boys is an inspiring movie directed by Penny Marshall. Drew Barrymore portrays the real life of writer Bev DeFornio. Bev has always dreamed of becoming a writer. That dream comes to a halt when Bev faces an unexpected pregnancy. After 6 years of marriage, Bev learns that her husband is a drug addict. The marriage ends and Bev is left as a single mother with no possible way of fulfilling her dream. Barrymore describes her character as a determined person who could overcome any obstacle.
She still, at the end of the day, believed in herself and believed that she was better than this life and that she wanted to make something of herself, and she never gave up on that.
Director Penny Marshall says she can relate to the main character in the movie. She also had a baby at a young age. Riding in Cars with Boys is rated PG-13. Now time to look at the events happening in your area.
Lately, you often heard about the fight against terrorism. It surrounds us. We hear it on radio and television and read about it in the paper. We wanted your thoughts on whether your opinion has changed at all about retaliation since the U.S. started with the bombing in Afghanistan.
But I do feel there is a need, and you know, we need to do what we have to do, and that is to be over there and take a stand for terrorism, and that we're not going to accept that here.
I had wished that the United States would stop and reconsider a foreign policy that goes back for decades and involves both political parties. Tragically, this has not happened.
I don't think that violence is the answer to anything, even to retaliation of acts of violence. I think that it's only going to promote more problems. I'm really fearful that a lot more is going to start breaking out on American soil.
What President Bush has set out to do as far as hitting military targets and terrorist targets, I think that's fine if we can minimize civilian casualties, which we can't stay away from entirely, but if we can minimize those, then I think what we're doing needs to be done.
My opinion hasn't changed. I think it's necessary to strike back.
When it came time to purchase a new public transportation vehicle for the city of Grand Forks, North Dakota, city officials decided to go the extra mile to get some extra smiles.
You probably drive by many city buses in the course of a day, but how many of them make you stop what you're doing and bring a smile to your face? The newest city bus in Grand Forks, more affectionately known as the Trolley, may do just that. Fresh out of Wichita, Kansas, the $263,000 vehicle has been in service for about a month. Superintendent of Public Transportation Roger Foster says the smiles are what it's all about.
We're going to have some fun with it with public transportation, and that's what it's all about, to enhance the ridership, to make what we do a lot more fun and turn some heads in the meantime.
The trolley runs an hour-long route through the city several times each day. It functions just like any other city bus. Foster says the difference is that some people who don't usually use public transportation might jump at a chance to get on the trolley.
Yeah, it's an absolutely gorgeous vehicle. It was absolutely a head turner.
So how does it look from the driver's seat? Robert Noss is a frequent driver for the trolley. He has been driving buses for almost 20 years, so he knows his regular customers fairly well. With the trolley, Noss says he gets a lot of one-time riders who just want to look inside.
The trolley costs about $12,000 more than an average city bus, but city officials agree it was a positive investment that will change the image of public transportation in Grand Forks.
Foster says it will soon be time to purchase another bus, and if all goes as planned, there may someday be 2 trolleys putting smiles on the faces of bus riders all over town. This is Kelly Anderson reporting for Studio One.
The trolley is not available to rent for personal use, but there are already plans to make it a part of the holiday festivities. It will be used as a tour shuttle for the Christmas Parade of Lights. Stay with us. The news team will tell us about a new airplane fuel being tested. The goal is to make it burn much cleaner than current fuel. Plus, classic cars are the pride and joy of some collectors. People can spend more than $100,000 restoring the past. That story plus news, sports, and the updated weather forecast in the next half hour of Studio One.
Students from any major can build a great future through the entrepreneurship programs at the College of Business and Public Administration at the University of North Dakota.
It lets them meet with business people and spread their wings and do the research to see if their ideas really do work.
Well, this program is for everybody. Business coincides and integrates with any major out there.
Trust yourself, take action, discover the entrepreneurship programs at the UND College of Business and Public Administration.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
future a bit cloudy? Get a brighter picture at UND Aerospace and the University of North Dakota. World-class training programs endorsed by major airlines, an extraordinary fleet of aircraft, and learning facilities second to none make UND Aerospace the largest collegiate aviation program in North America. Begin your future in the aviation industry. Explore programs in space studies or computer science. Soar into the atmospheric sciences. It's all here at UND Aerospace. What's in your future? UND Aerospace, clearly the leader in aviation education.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today. It's a great day to be watching our show.
Yes, it is. We've got a lot of good stories coming up. But first, Monty, I want to tell you about a new device that they just approved.
Okay.
What it is, it's the U.S. just approved this. It's a pacemaker, and what they do is they have a chip in there that sends via remote transmission. It sends what's going on in your heart. It could send it to Europe or your doctor in wherever he or she may be.
So I could be sitting in Grand Forks if I had this pacemaker, and they could be anywhere in the world. And
yep, and they could calculate all the things that are going on in your heart, any problems that might come up. So it's kind of neat.
I can see how that would be very useful.
Yes, it might be.
Thanks. Well, coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, a joint effort between two universities might result in a cleaner burning airplane fuel.
And cars and trucks have changed through the years. Some people find an old wreck in a junkyard and return it into a near-perfect condition. We'll visit a classic car show.
And not everyone knows about the foundation of the Muslim faith. We'll talk with a Grand Forks man who has brought his family and his religion all the way from Cairo, Egypt. But first, today's news with Leanna Anderson.
Thanks, Monty and Ivy. The anthrax scare has now spread to other parts of the world. The first positive case of anthrax was found today in Kenya. Health officials say a private citizen in Nairobi received an envelope from Atlanta, Georgia. It contained white powder and pieces of cloth. The health minister confirmed the envelope contained anthrax. Authorities are checking two other suspicious envelopes, one of which was sent to a UN office in Nairobi. President Bush arrived in Shanghai, China today for an economic cooperative summit. Normally, the topic of the summit is trade, but today Bush will talk about anti-terrorism. He could face some resistance in his efforts. Leaders in Indonesia and Malaysia have condemned the U.S.-led airstrikes in Afghanistan. Bush planned several one-on-one meetings with leaders of China and Russia. Colin Powell will also participate in a forum about anti-terrorism at the summit. Fraud can be a very personal crime. It can turn a person's life upside down. There are three main types of fraud: identity, consumer, and forgery. Identity fraud is when someone takes a person's identity and uses it for themselves. An example, consumer fraud would be someone using another person's credit card. Forgery is using another person's signature. Police say identity fraud using credit cards is becoming more widespread. Different types of fraud can be used collectively.
And because of the identity theft, we also have credit card theft too, because people are using someone else's identity to get the credit cards in the first place.
Flannery says there are ways to prevent fraud. Among those would be to not give out a credit card number over the phone, keep PIN numbers locked safely away, and keep track of checkbooks as well as checks. American teens are smoking less. In the last 2 years, the number of new teen smokers fell by 1/3. Experts contribute the decline to higher cigarette prices and a cultural shift away from smoking being glamorous. Even though there is a decline in the number of new teen smokers, experts say more than 2,000 American teens still smoke their first cigarette each day. The drop began taking place during tough years and bad press for cigarette makers. The Federal Aviation Administration is attempting to make our sky more environmentally friendly. Researchers are working on an alternative aircraft fuel which does not contain lead.
The Federal Aviation Administration has awarded a grant to create a new type of aviation fuel. This $765,000 grant will go into developing a new ethanol-based fuel. Fuel used by planes is presently harmful to the environment because it contains lead. Fuel researcher Ted Orlick is one of the founders of the project. He says the aviation industry has no choice.
Lead's been banned from vehicle fuel for over 25 years. The only reason it hasn't been banned from the general aviation industry is because there's no economic alternative that's been developed in the last 25 years.
The University of North Dakota's Aerospace Department will be involved in the testing of the new fuel. They hope that once developed, the fuel can be used in the U.S. aviation industry and worldwide.
We're confident that ethanol-based aviation fuel will probably become the standard someday for aviation fuels.
The ethanol-based fuel will also help the agricultural economy. Unlike traditional fuels, ethanol is a renewable resource that can be made here in the U.S.
Farmers in North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, across the country can produce something that will provide ethanol-based fuel.
Although the project will not be complete for several years, the future of aviation fuel is looking a lot more environmentally friendly. Reporting for Studio One News, this is Anita Ramdhari.
The research is a joint project between the University of North Dakota and South Dakota State University. Testing of the fuel has already begun. And that's news for now. Monty and Ivy?
Thanks, Leanna. Well, it's good. They're always trying to find some way to clean up the environment, which is great.
Yes, they are. Well, why don't we go back now to the Regional Weather Information Center with Ryan Vipond. Ryan.
Well, Monty and Ivy, we'll take a look at the closer look at the extended forecast for the weekend, but coming up shortly. But first of all, our current conditions here at Grand Forks. We see our high has dropped now to 53 degrees. Our dew point 23. Relative humidity sits at 31%. West breeze now at 15. Our jet stream analysis currently out there, pretty much zonal from west to east across the region. Just a slight troughing across the upper Midwest and northern plains, keeping this cooler air poised across south central Canada and the warm air shoved off to the south and west. And this pattern will be in place throughout the weekend. Our Saturday forecast surface analysis shows a frontal boundary just to our north through southern Manitoba and Saskatchewan. Chance of rain showers throughout the day, possibly mixing with some snow Saturday night into Sunday. Extended forecast shows cloudy skies for the most part and high temperatures lowering to around 50 degrees on Sunday and cloudy skies for Monday and 44. So Monty and Ivy, as we move on into the weekend, if you have plans to go to the parade Saturday, homecoming parade at UND, might want to take a jacket and an umbrella.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
It's always good to know when the rain's coming.
Yes, it is.
Let's go now to sports news with James DeGelder.
Thanks, Monty and Ivy. No matter what level of college football a player competes, whether it is Division I, II, or III, the records still mean the same. One of the nation's best college running backs in Division II football plays in North Dakota.
Quick feet, a clear mind, and good blocking are all ingredients to make a successful running back. Lamar Gordon is a senior running back for North Dakota State University. He is the Bison's all-time leading rusher with more than 4,500 yards. He holds the school's all-time single-season rushing record of 1,727 yards, which he broke last year. Gordon is also threatening a number of scoring marks this year. He is second on the team's all-time career rushing touchdowns, career total touchdowns, and career points lists. Gordon says the records have not changed him at all.
It's really, the coaches are there, but it's my teammates and the coaches is, having that confidence that, I can carry the load, that they're going to give me the ball. That's been the main thing that kept me going.
Gordon has played in 34 career games. He has rushed for more than 100 yards in all but 4 of those games. One of his teammates says Gordon never talks about his individual stats or records.
Lamar's a genuine guy. He is a humble person. He isn't about himself at all. That's the God's honest truth. He is the way he say he is, but he is the way everybody else says he is.
One Bison tight end says Gordon is one of the hardest workers on the team, and he always gives it his all.
I've been here all 4 years he's been here, and he's passed some great guys in the past who've, Benchum and all those guys who have been great here at SU, and now him doing that is just unbelievable. And
even though Gordon stays quiet about himself and the records, he can be sure at the end of his college career, he will have everyone else talking about him.
Since we have talked with Lamar Gordon, he has faced some tougher challenges off the field. He was suspended for 1 game because he was caught vandalizing a car at a college dance. It's now time for the answer to this week's Studio One Sports Trivia question. This week's question is, what are the most runs ever scored by one team in one big league game? Is it 38, 31, 36, or 42? And the answer is C, 36, and the Chicago Cubs did it back in 1897. And that's the sports for today. Monty and Ivy.
Thank you, James. Many Muslims see the Taliban laws as too severe. We'll talk with someone who will share his views on the Islamic religion and what it means to be Muslim.
But first, that new car smell is something almost everyone can relate to. But what about that new old car smell? You might find such a thing at a classic car show. That story is next on Studio One.
Address your workforce training needs through the Workforce Training Partnership between Lake Region State College and the University of North Dakota. Both institutions have joined together to provide training in computer applications, management and supervision, the trades, and much more. The partnership also provides customized training programs to fit the specific needs of your business or industry. For more information, contact the Workforce Training Partnership Office at Lake Region State College or the University of North Dakota.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One, your source for news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
They are loved by men and women and admired by children. They are also equipped with custom-built engines, eye-catching chrome, and polished surfaces. I'm talking about custom-built cars. These cars attract enthusiasts who admire each other's vehicles and show off their own.
Randy Hedge really loves his wife and his car. He is the proud father of a 23T Roadster, which is on display at this car show.
We usually try and hit from 15 to 20 shows a year throughout the summer, and normally we drive to all the shows, so it's not a trailer queen or anything like that.
A trailer queen is car lingo for a car that is transported from show to show and not driven. Dennis and Julia Verrier of Winnipeg, Manitoba are the proud owners of a trailer queen, a 35 Chevrolet Roadster which took 5 years to build.
When we went to Detroit, the first show you go to, you have to tech the car, so you have to actually get in it and drive it a little bit and back up and turn the wheels, because they want to make sure that it runs and it's drivable, and then shut it off, and then you don't have to start it for another year after that.
Their car won the Grand Champion in Toronto earlier this year. Verrier says the look of the car is important, but also the display serves a function.
You have to have a display so that you can keep the kids away from the vehicles, so the kids don't get in, and also you have to show the car properly.
He says the display costs a lot of money, but not nearly as much as it costs to have this kind of hobby.
Yeah, they're expensive. You know, you look at these little cars go by and you think it's just a little hot rod, but quite a few of them are well in excess of $100,000, probably, yeah, and more.
This show features 80 cars that can be entered in many different categories, but each car is a labor of love. There are also car-related businesses and memorabilia stands at these shows, but the main attractions are cool cars and meeting people. Many spectators appreciate the painstaking effort and time that goes into restoring or modifying a car. But above all, it is the joy of sharing the same interests that draws people to car shows.
Actually, we come to a lot of car shows, and part of it is it's like a mini reunion for us because we know so many people that have their cars here. We've had cars in the show in the past, but we don't this year.
Building or modifying a car takes patience and help from friends and family. Randy Hedge spent 1 full year working weekends and nights to build his car.
I'm pretty fortunate I can do most of the stuff myself, and my wife does upholstery work, so she does the interior stuff for me.
Not only is his wife involved, but his whole family has enjoyed this pastime.
I have 4 daughters, and the girls had always went to all the shows with us, and I had kind of promised each one of the girls a car someday, and that's kind of what I'm working on yet. They do get to come home and use them. I just told them they couldn't have them until I was done with them someday.
Custom building a car is a popular hobby. It is fun and demanding, but while some do it for the recognition, others do it to socialize.
We've won some trophies with the cars. Our biggest trophy is when people come by and look at it and say, hey, I like your car, and thumbs up. That's our thing. Trophies are just something you have to dust, and they are enjoyable, don't get me wrong, but I'm here because of the people.
The next time you visit a car show to admire these classic cars in all their polished glory, remember the painstaking effort that takes place before the show. With photographer BJ Eisen, I am Elin Marin Eriksson, reporting for Studio One.
Car clubs can be found almost anywhere. The broad range of vehicles gives many people the chance to specialize in a certain make or model. As the country continues to repair itself from terrorist attacks, we'll meet one man who has traveled halfway around the world to find peace. We'll talk with him about the Islamic religion.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Future a bit cloudy? Get a brighter picture at UND Aerospace and the University of North Dakota. World-class training programs endorsed by major airlines, an extraordinary fleet of aircraft, and learning facilities second to none make UND Aerospace the largest collegiate aviation program in North America. Begin your future in the aviation industry. Explore programs in space studies or computer science. Soar into the atmospheric sciences. It's all here at UND Aerospace. What's in your future? UND Aerospace, clearly the leader in aviation education.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The terrorist attack of September 11th was a great cause for concern and anger. We have many Muslims right here in America who shared that same concern. With us is practicing Muslim Yasir Khalifa, who lives in the United States. Thank you for coming on the show today, Yasir.
Thank you.
Well, you're originally from Cairo, Egypt. What brought you to the United States?
Well, I came here, actually, I was in Turkey before I come here, and I came here to join the faculty of the electrical engineering department here at UND.
Okay. And how long have you been in the United States now?
3 years now.
3 years? Okay. What does being Muslim mean to you?
Well, Islam is an Arabic word that means peace and submission. So for me, it means peace, love, And it's not only a religion that is practiced in a mosque, it's a whole way of life. And if you take these two terms, peace and submission, peace and love, into every aspect of your life, in the relation with oneself, the relation between a person and his community, his family, his neighbors, and all of these under the context of peace and love. This is what Islam is for me.
Okay. What are some of the basic traditions that happen with Islam?
Well, in order to understand Islam has 5 pillars. So whoever practices these 5 pillars is a Muslim. And the first pillar is to believe in God, in one God, and that Muhammad is the last prophet of God. The second pillar is to pray 5 times a day in specific times. The third one is to fast the month of Ramadan, and fasting is done by not eating or drinking from sundawn to sunset for 1 month a year. The fourth one is to pay taxes, which is about 2.5% of one's savings every year to the charities. And the last one is to perform pilgrimage to Mecca if one is financially and physically capable. Now, these are the basic pillars of Islam. In addition to this, there are pillars of Iman, which is faith. And these are 6, there are 6 of them. The first one is, again, to believe in God, to believe in His angels, and all of the books that were revealed by God. And we believe that the books that revealed by God include the 10 Commandments and all of the other the books that other prophets have brought. And then to believe in all of the prophets that God has sent. And these starts with Adam, Noah, John, Moses, Jesus, and the last one we believe is Muhammad. So it's a continuation. We believe that Muhammad did not bring or come up with a new religion. He is reinforcing the religion that all of the other prophets have come with.
Okay. When you, on September 11th, I think most everybody can remember where they were when the attacks happened. What were you doing?
Actually, at that time on Tuesdays between 8 and 9, I have a lecture. So I was lecturing. I came to know of the incident about at 9:30, right after the second plane hit the second tower. It was very shocked when I heard this, and it took me some time to absorb and try to understand what has happened.
Did you have any idea or even imagine that the Taliban or Osama bin Laden was behind this?
Well, to tell the truth, I did not really. I realized that it was a terrorist attack. I did not really think that they are sophisticated enough to commit something like this. But as days passed and as evidences that were shown were all pointing to them, I began to believe that they have done this, and that, yes.
It's well known that the Taliban government and Osama bin Laden they speak on behalf of Islam, saying that that's why they're committing these acts. You practicing that faith, did you ever feel personally scared about the reaction of people in the United States now that you're living here?
Well, I was really, my fear was for the Islamic religion. I felt as a Muslim I had a double tragedy. Of course, the tragedy of having innocent people being slaughtered right like this in a very barbaric way, that's a big tragedy. But also it's my religion. I really felt that my religion was hijacked, because these people are criminals, and they are using religion. They are hiding behind religion. My religion, or in the Quran, which is the holy book that my religion holds, it says that whoever kills one innocent person is just like he has killed the whole humanity, and who saves one person is just like saving the whole humanity. So how come these people use religion in such a drastic way?
And it's also been reported that bin Laden and the Taliban they're using some suppressing laws on some of the people. One of those being that there's a lack of media as we know it in Afghanistan, and also education is not given to some of the people. How do you feel about this?
Well, that's really silly, and that's what makes me frustrated about this, that again they are using Islam to impose, or as a reason to impose all of these laws. I think what they are doing is that they are using the blackening out of their people to make it easy for them to propagate their ideas. Media and education are, both of them, are windows to the outside world. They broaden the one's horizon, and it's much easier to control people when they don't know, when they do not know. If people do not know their rights, they cannot ask for it. And I think this is a very effective way, and has proven to be effective throughout history, to control people. It's much easier to control them when they are uneducated and unexposed, or not exposed to outside media.
Do you think that the people know it all from the Taliban government what happened in the United States correctly? Do you think that they are getting, at least they know that people came over and attacked us and why we're bombing them?
Well, I don't know exactly if I know an answer to this. My belief is that the people there, they do not know what has happened, because there's no one in his right mind would agree with what has happened. And even if they know what has happened, they would know it through their controlled media, which can twist the stories, or can tell a story of what they actually want people to know, rather than what has really happened.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your insight today on Islam. It's very interesting.
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
The University of North Dakota has a rich history of retaining and graduating American Indian students. UND offers 26 American Indian programs, more than any other higher education institution in the U.S. The support services provided by Native American programs enhance student success. Native American programs offer tutoring, academic advising, and financial aid assistance, which makes UND a leader in Indian education. For more information, call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Voller Insurance partners with you in protecting what matters most. For more than 50 years, Voller has built its reputation on its people, its clients, and a commitment to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks. Voller Insurance understands that the strength of its people is its greatest asset. People that tailor insurance protection that meets your needs. That's the key to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks.
Tune in next week on Studio One. We'll experience firsthand the cult-like behavior of the people who love the film The Rocky Horror Picture Show. That and more next week on Studio One.
And we're going to leave you now with some pictures of fall time in the Midwest, courtesy of photographer Troy Clifton. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.